Welcome, guys, to histology lecture of the pancreas and the spleen. These are very important organs when it comes to your accessory glands of your gastrointestinal tract. And today we're gonna take a look at the histology structure of the pancreas and the spleen. Let's dive into it. Let's start with the pancreas. The first point you need to understand about the pancreas is that it is a mixed exocrine and endocrine gland. So you're going to have some exocrine function of the pancreas where there will be secretion of digestive enzymes, right? And then you're going to have the endocrine function of the pancreas where you're going to have the formation of insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, and a lot of hormones. The exocrine portion is a compound Acinar gland which produce digestive enzymes, for example, Trypsinogen and so forth. And the pancreas is going to be innervated by the vagus nerve, which is parasympathetic. And it also has enteroendocrine hormones that affect the pancreas. We have the secretin and cholecystokinin. They can affect the release of these enzymes. The endocrine portion consists of epithelial cells grouped into clusters called the islets of Langerhans. They secrete hormones like insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, and vasoactive intestinal peptide, which is also known as VIP. Right. So this is the histological slide of a pancreas. So you're going to have a capsule, and the capsule is going to send some trabeculae into your pancreas, and you're going to see it's going to be divided into pancreatic lobules, right? And within these lobules, you're going to have pancreatic cells, which are just acinar cells. So it forms like an acinar of cells that will be surrounding a blood vessel. So the pancreas is very highly vascularized, and that is very important. And then you're going to also see some clusters of the islets of Langerhans, which is actually pale staining as compared to the other portion, like here. You can actually see here, another one here, another one here. These are clusters of the islets of Langerhans, endocrine function. Right. So we have secretory arsenal that will be polygonal shaped. So this is a secretory arsenal, another secretory arsenal here, another secretory arsenal here, a secretory arsenal here, and here this is an islet of Langerhans. You can actually see the clusters of cells. We are going to look at it very soon. Let's start with the exocrine pancreas. So you have the connective tissue coming from the capsule, which divide the glands into lobules, which are called pancreatic lobules. And within these lobules, you have pancreatic acinar or secretory acinar that will be secreting digestive enzymes. Enzyme will be stored into granules, right, at the apex of the cell. So you're gonna actually see at the apex of the pancreatic acinar is gonna be a highly eosinophilic due to these enzymes stored in these granules or zymogens. But at the base of the pancreas is going to be basophilic because of the high amount of rough endoplasmic reticulum. You understand? Good. So the Acinar cell are pyramidal and they have extensive protein synthesis machinery. These proteins that are synthesized, they are going to be stored in the zymogen granule. Each acinar will be lying on the basolamina. That is a highly regulated and these cells will be joined by tight junctions, and they sit on the basolamina by the hemidesmosomes. Right? So the stroma of the pancreas, you're going to have delicate reticular fibers, that is collagen type 3, supporting the parenchyma of the pancreas, right? And it's very important to understand that the pancreas, it produces enzymes like trypsinogen, trypsin, that can actually digest the protein of the body. So we need a tight regulation, right, of these digestive enzymes. And this can be made by having some inhibitory factors. The pancreas of these pancreatic acids secrete some inhibitory factors of some of these enzymes so that they won't be activated within the pancreas or the duct of the pancreas, but they can only be activated right in the digestion of the pancreatic protein. Let's take a look at the flow of these digestive enzymes. So an acinar is going to drain into what you call an intercalated duct. An intercalated duct would drain itself into an interlobular duct. From the interlobular duct, intralobular duct, and then you're going to have an interlobular duct. And then from the interlobular duct, you have the main pancreatic duct. So what is important is to take note of the epithelial lining of these ducts. So the intercalated duct is going to be lined by simple squamous epithelia. Simple squamous epithelia, right? Then the intralobular duct is going to be lined by columnar epithelia. The intralobular duct is going to be lined by cuboidal epithelia, not columnar. It is the interlobular duct that is lined by columnar epithelia. And the main duct is going to be lined by stratified cuboidal or stratified columnar epithelia. Right. So take note of this. The intercalated duct will send some portion within the acinar itself, forming cells that are called the Centroacinar cells, right? That can also be seen in the secreted acinar. Right. So you can actually see this is a pancreatic lobule. You can actually see these pyramidal polygonal shaped cells, your pancreatic acinar cells. And you can see the apex, they'll all be sitting or aligned by basolamina. And the basal portion of these cells is basophilic. You can actually see basophilic because of rough endoplasmic reticulum that are basally placed. And then at the apex of these cells, you're actually going to see it's going to be eosinophilic with some dots. Like you see these dots, reddish dots. They are due to the zymogen granules, right? Where the digestive enzymes are going to be stored before excretion. So you can actually understand this is another lobule, another lobule, another lobule, another lobule, another lobule, and so on. So this is a pancreatic acinar or acinar cell. You can actually see that this is pyramidal shaped. The apex you can see form zyanogen granules, right, forming secretory vesicles. In the back, you can also have a body mitochondria. You can actually see this abundance of rough reticular and rough endoplasmic reticular, right, giving the basophilic nature of the acinar cell. Then these granules, they give the eosinophilic part of the acinar cell, right? So you can actually appreciate that this is your intercalated duct, and it's going to send cells that will form the centroacinar cells that will be at the center of these pancreatic acinar cells. So they will be secreting their digestive enzymes into the centroacinar cells, and then they later drain into the intercalated ducts. From the intercalated, we go to the intralobular duct, then interlobular duct, and main pancreatic duct. That will join with the bile duct and enter the duodenum and the major duodenal papilla. So you can actually see the basolamina, your acinar cell. You can see this eosinophilic nature, and this becoming a central acinar cell. These are ducts over here. Remember, ducts they are surrounded by connective tissue. So whenever you see connective tissue, um, you are more likely to find some ducts. So this is a good example. So you can see this is a pancreatic interlobular duct, another interlobular duct, and you can see this connective tissue around these ducts. Let's take a look at the endocrine pancreas. Right, endocrine pancreas. So we have the islets of Langerhans that will consist of rounded cells arranged into cords and separated by body capillary. So this one is a highly vascularized because remember it's endocrine, right? Good. So we have types of cells, very important that you have to take note of. We have alpha cells. So alpha cells, they are going to be at the periphery, and they are going to be occupying 20% of the islets of Langerhans. These are 20% of the islets of Langerhans cells, and they are acidophilic cells. They secrete glycogen. So alpha cells secrete glycogen. Beta cells are the ones that are important. So let's take alpha cells acidophilic, beta cells basophilic. B for B, A for A. Good. And these are numerous. 80%, about 70 to 80% of the islets of Langerhans cells are beta cells. But these are the cells that secrete insulin. Insulin, right? We also have the D cells that secrete somatostatin, remember the inhibiting hormone. We also have the F cells that will secrete the pancreatic polypeptide. Right, so this is the islet of Langerhans. You can see numerous of blood capillaries, right, within the islets of Langerhans. And you can actually see that we have cells that are blue, and we have those that are a bit pale, right? Sorry. Right, so the beta cells, which are your insulin producing cells, they are basophilic, so they look a bit blue, right? And the glycogen secreting cells, which are your alpha cells, they are acidophilic, so they look at a bit pale, right? So yeah, And take note of this. We have a connective tissue capsule that will be surrounding this islets of Langerhans. So it has its own capsule surrounding it, right? And these clusters of cells that are highly vascularized. Right, so that's everything that you have to know about the pancreas. Thank you so much.